Charity Navigator, which is a website for determining which charities operate the most effectively, they've come out with an annual study of CEO pay where they ranked people, and it's a long list, but 11 charities pay their CEOs over $1 million, and we picked a couple of them here, 5. Let's take a look. So these are charities that pay their CEOs and their leaders
American
more than
University
$1 million a
charity?
year. So American University, it's their like foundation wing.
Okay.
Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Heritage Foundation, that's your buddy, what's his name?
Jim
Santorum?
DeMint.
Yeah. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Really?
Yeah.
That last
Really?
one. You know, I've been to Boys and Girls Clubs.
Okay.
They're horrible. They are so spare. I mean, it's a great service where you can have a place for your kids to come basically for free and play and be and have be in a good surroundings, but they're not pretty. They're not dirty, but they're not pretty.
Really?
And what's served to them in forms of snacks are not great.
Right.
And for that, charity.
So the CEO there is making over $1 million.
I think that's disproportionate.
Yeah, so the median CEO salary for all the ones that Charity Navigator looked at was about $126,000. For large charities that had more than $13.5 million in annual expenses, the median pay was $244,000. But this seems completely crazy, right? Now, I think what they would argue is they need the best of the best.
That's what they would argue.
That's what they would argue, and that otherwise you get this brain drain because if you don't pay the CEOs enough, you're not going to get the right people in that can make it as good of an
I
organization.
think that's what Mother Teresa used to say.
That's right. I'd love to do the work, but come back to me with another offer.
You gotta pay me.
So is the brain drain argument, you just don't buy that at any level whatsoever?
Not for charity. No, you go to work for a charity because, there's lots of committed people. That's all bullshit. That's about people wanting more money and being greedy. Taking $1 million from a fucking charity.
Right.
That is so that's $20,000 a week, right? 27. Yeah, that's $20,000 a week.
It is?
Yes. A week. So that's $5,000 a day.
Right.
Jesus.
Right. That's more than Cenk makes.
Whoa.
Well,
Steve-O like that one.
Maybe I'm naive, but I guess I expect someone who works for a charity to have some amount of altruism.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at this level, but also, what is too much?
Exactly.
It really depends on what your perspective is. I could say, I think that if they make like $250,000 a year, I think that's a fair amount. But who am I to say that?
I think I think you're just as qualified as anyone else to say that. I would say that. I would say that, hey, we'll give you a salary that puts you in the upper 2%. Is that enough?
Right. Is that enough? So that's the question. Would these people that are doing this for over $1 million not do it for $500,000?
Right, exactly.
Which I would be pretty happy.
Fuck the Boys and Girls Clubs. That $500,000?
I'm going back to Wall Street.
I'm going to work for tobacco.
That's right.
Yeah. So can we just not play on the goodness of people? Is that where does that exist?
But then also look at what people in the movies make. Is that fair for somebody to make $20 million for a movie?
No, but for them, they're at least saying they do it for themselves, right? There's no illusion that they're somehow doing it for the betterment of society.
Right.
Well, I guess a lot of actors probably think they're doing it for the
what would
society, right?
What would society be without Judge Dredd?
Yeah. Awful. Just awful.
Yeah, that's bullshit. When I hear about that, it's a scam. $1 million that people donate go to your own pocket. That's wrong.
Well, so the definition of charity, I thought this was interesting, is the voluntary giving of help, typically in the form of money, to those in need. So actually, by giving these people salaries that are $1 million, you're actually going against the very definition
of charity
of the word. So what do we do? Do we just not give money to these? Those organizations are doing some good stuff. Maybe not the Heritage Foundation.
When I get hired to do a charity event, I usually donate the money back to the charity. Yeah. That's as a performer, right?
A communist left-wing radical.
So I said usually.
Not all the time. Not the big ones.
Not if it's a big check.
Not the big ones. But would this affect how you gave if you saw this full list?
Oh, absolutely. I would not want to give to these particular charities.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give to the Heritage Foundation anyway.
Right.
But the Boys and Girls Club is something that I think is a great service. But I would want them to know. I would want them to know that I'm not giving because of this information.
Yeah. Is part of the problem also that people think that these not-for-profit companies, that they're all altruistic, but you can be not-for-profit and make a ton of money. right? Your CEOs and all your high-level people can get
Yeah.
paid a ton. You're
Yeah.
still not for profit.
Medical
right?
marijuana clinics.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. I think they can take a salary and that they have to be nonprofits technically, I think, in California anyway.
So
Yeah.
does that mean that aside from just paying salaries, that all the money goes back to the
It's
service
not.
Yes.
It's not
itself?
going back in to pay like dividends and things like
Right.
that.
That's a
Or
nonprofit.
raise,
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I guess the point of this was that you should put your money in the medical marijuana companies, right? Was
Absolutely.
I think that was the
Absolutely.
takeaway of what
That
Jimmy
is-
was trying to
That's
say
what
here.
they were helping
In
people.
fact, forget that, just straight to us.
That's right.
Straight to your
So
local.
we can buy our pot.
We're trying.
To your local comedians. I think that's what it is. The Rubin Report is brought to you by Coupon.com. They've got up to 75% off cat and dog treats, toys, and more. You can get another 20% off using code RR. The link is right down below. Click it and make your pet happy.